Let's go! Doug and Rob on the mic, spring running the show. Turn the dial up, let the nonsense flow. Triptych in the corner, wagging her tail, ready for the road. And history in the rear view, spices in the air. Cooking up a story, got a guest in every chair. Entrepreneurs and dreamers, music in the night. On the Nonsense Chronicles, everything feels right. Turn it up, let the laughter roll. On the road with the heart and a rock and roll soul. From the kitchen to the highway, chasing every spot. We're living out loud, making magic in the dark. Spring's got the soundboard mixing up the fun. Doug's got the question drops, always on the run. Fifth's got opinions, barking out the truth. Every episode's a journey, every moment's living through. Turn it up, let the
Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. This is Doug Chachere, and as always, I am joined by...
Rob Mendiola.
Greetings, Rob.
What's up, Doug? My voice is kind of getting a little weird today. I think, we're having some AC issues, so maybe I didn't sleep that well. I don't know.
Yeah, you do sound like that. Yeah, it's
kind of
could
dry.
be allergy stuff. I kind of noticed that today too. There could be something. I don't know. We both had a ton of rain.
Yeah, lots of rain everywhere. Texas, South Texas is getting slammed by an abundance of rain.
You would think that that would cut down on allergens and stuff in the air, but I don't know, because I remember last time it was kind of like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have I'm selling my home.
Yep.
And I'm moving everything out, and my rain gauge in the back was filled last night, and I was like, well, I'm out of here, because if I move, I get a new rain gauge. And
Okay.
yeah, so I said, I'm done dumping that thing, so yeah, after 5 inches of rain, I just said I quit. And that was sometime in the middle of the night. Usually I dump it every day, but it was just raining all that yesterday and last night. But anyhow, joining us today is our producer, Spring. Yep. Hey, Spring.
Hello.
You sound real happy today.
Well, yeah, it's been...
I tried to get her to get all excited and enthused, but it's not working.
We're not gonna have Pip on today?
No, Pippa's outside. She's enjoying this cool down that we've had, compliments of all the rain. And thank goodness, because our air conditioner is like on the fritz right now. So, but it actually feels pretty good in here right now.
You can't have an AC go on to fritz here in Texas, man.
No, they're coming in early in the morning, and I'm gonna get on it.
Yeah.
Well, thank God.
Yeah.
But anyhow, what we're gonna discuss today.
What you got? What you ranting about now?
Is the healthcare situation, which, as I've discovered it, and and kind of in a way, I feel like, woe is me, because not like about a billion people have already dealt with these problems, but I guess in the last, and I know y'all had y'all's, and I know Spring is going to talk about it, but in the last, I guess, 2 years, because I had the first surgery, that sinus surgery, about 2 years ago, and I had problems then. I'll tell you that my provider is Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I've only reached my deductible in my lifetime. Going into that, I had reached it twice.
Yeah,
and then that, I had reached it twice, but I was going to have that surgery a couple years before. A friend of mine passed the night before I was going to have the surgery, a close friend, and I wasn't going to do anything. I was up all night, and so I had called them and postponed that surgery, and I just put it off. I ended up putting it off. And this is basically sinus surgery where deviated somewhere. I happen to be able to breathe through my nose since I was a kid, man.
Yeah.
And did you know that they denied that 3 times? Now they agreed to do it when I did reach my deductible. What a coincidence! But
Right.
but when it was time, when it was on them,
Yeah.
oh, they wanted to fight it, dude. It took a third. I'm gonna tell you what happened. It took a 4th time with my doctor going back to them, and it got approved. And I told my doctor, I did tell him, and look, I am in not any way. I am all for counting to 10 and thinking about stuff. And apparently, some people don't. That's not good enough. But it was about 7 days later when Mangione shot the guy, the CEO of United or whatever healthcare. Yeah, and people get frustrated. I mean, I don't ever want to see anybody resort to silence, but that's
And a lot of people are sympathetic to it too, which is crazy. But that shows the level of
irritation
that people have had.
And I never thought I would have been for any kind of a healthcare system more universal. And I tell you what, I'm all for it. I've always believed that our vets shouldn't have to pay.
Are you coming out as a socialist now?
No, I'm not coming out as a socialist.
Hearing it first here. We're going to move you to New York.
I would say that I am and this is nothing political. I am just a la carte American. In other words, if I like this, that's this. I don't go by anybody's standards. And we're talking straight healthcare today. And I think that more and more people no matter how they vote, are becoming that way on healthcare.
But if you got universal healthcare though, you're going to get denied a lot more often as well. It doesn't mean you're going to get healthcare.
Yeah, we need to go somewhere better, because I'm going to tell you today's scenario. Then it makes me pull the mask off and reveal what I got going on. Anyhow, as Rob knows and Spring knows, I guess about a month ago, well, it's getting close to 2 months now. Yeah. I was traveling. It was the beginning of May. I was traveling and was going out to do a little work and in Daytona, and I stopped for the night in Biloxi. And I ended up, like I had drank water, so I had to, go to the bathroom. Well, when I went, there was blood. I mean, I was
never a good sign.
No, it's not a good sign, and I hadn't had any major injury or something crazy, going on. I was like, what the? So, I'm not going to play with that. So I went to a doctor there, and it happened to be associated with a hospital, which was right next door. It wasn't Stones. They did all that. End up, and I went on my trip. They said, no, you're going to be fine. For right now, there's with nothing we see here. So I go on my trip, and about 2+ weeks, and I get back, and it happens again, and I'm like, all right. So I went to my doctor, and they knew it was going on already, and because I had stayed in contact with them here, and CAT scan revealed I had a tumor about the size of, or I have a tumor the size of a quarter. So saw a urologist. He could have done the job, but in Houston, Texas, there's a place called MD Anderson, and they are the Mac Daddy when it comes to cancer. I mean, there's some really good ones around the country, but I don't think you can top MD Anderson. And the doctor I'm going to see, he went to Johns Hopkins. He did his internship at the Cleveland Clinic and Sloan Kettering, and then he's at MD Anderson. I was like, I'm in good hands. So anyhow, it's non-invasive, and it's something that allegedly, we'll see what happens when I run tests on Friday and then surgery next week. But it should be able to be handled. And but I got to go in and run some more tests again. They're going to run because they're the experts. They take the other stuff you bring them, but they want to check this again, and they're going to make sure they're not just going to cut you open or go into you, which is more the case with bladder cancer, and just blindly. They're going to know exactly what it is from their doctors. Well, the stomach and the pelvic scans, CT scans get approved. And they're also going to do a lung scan. And of course, that was denied. They didn't, and I'm like, I mean, if you know anything about cancer, now look, they said this hasn't spread. That's what the urologist said. But MD Anderson is checking because you know as well as I do how many cancers spread to the lungs, right? You know, that's yeah. And the one I have is a high grade tumor. In other words, I wouldn't settle for a low grade. No, it's a high grade tumor, but like I said, it hadn't attached itself. So, but I was pissed when I saw that, and then I did see that they do have people on staff that go in and deal with this, and which is good because, and this is why we podcast about it today, and I didn't react right away because had I called Blue Cross Blue Shield at that time, I probably wouldn't have been very nice. And thankfully, I have a wonderful wife who talks to me when stuff like this happens. So, but I'm like, what assholes, man? I'm sorry. That's the language I got. I hate insurance companies. I hate them with a passion. We had Tony Sashrews. I was lucky to grow up where, we weren't given it, but we had, eventually if we worked, we had choice. You want to work in the food business or you want to work in insurance? Because we had insurance agency for years. It's an independent agency. It's not the major corporation. They sell all kind of insurance. And I loved my dad for what he did, but I was like, no, I'm going into food because I hate insurance companies. And I hate them now. But I never realized, and look, I was just, I had blinders on, I guess. I never realized what a crock it is and I started thinking about that 2 years ago. Like, wait a minute. These companies are publicly traded. That's where I have the biggest problem with it.
It's for profit.
Yeah, we're deciding, there's not that money can't be made, but the publicly traded stuff, I'm like, this in no way should be, run by a publicly traded company. Now, these are the same people, of course, these insurance companies that, hey, go ahead and get all the opioids you want, man. You just, but God forbid you have cancer or something like that. So, I'm, that's always bothered me, though, when somebody said, well, this wouldn't be, I'm like, you have cancer, man. That's should be, hey, we're covering that. There should be no effing question, but.
Right. Well, no, that's when you get real expensive, though. So now you're about to get all your premiums back.
Well, I'm going to bring John Janich's name up because I have a story.
Bring it.
Before he passed, a few months before he passed, I took him to the cancer center, and we sat there, and everybody that knows us knows John Janich. And
oh God, yeah.
He talks to everybody from the parking lot all the way through the hospital, everywhere. Sitting down, you sit next to John, and you're going to be in a conversation. You may not want, you are going to be in a conversation. Well, the woman that was sitting next to him was waiting to be, hooked up. And he was talking to her about her surgery, and she said that she had her surgery, and he said, well, what are you doing here? Well, insurance. They went in to remove her cancer on the outside of her bladder, but the insurance company didn't okay the inside, so they left that cancer there and just took the cancer on the outside.
I mean, how much BS is that?
I just stood there and staring at her thinking, I can't even, my brain couldn't even comprehend, because as a doctor, you're supposed to do what's best for the patient. But because the insurance, so they weren't doing what was best for the patient. They did what the insurance told them to do or not to do. The same with Robert.
The insurance company is basically, the insurance company is the head of the hospital.
Yes, they tell your when Robert was put on the ventilator because, 2020, so many people lost their jobs. Well, Robert was right in there, lost his job. There goes insurance. And without insurance, I don't even know how to be more grateful that we did not have medical insurance, because there was no ceiling. Those doctors were obligated to treat my husband no matter what, because there was no insurance company to deal with.
Yeah, refresher to our listeners. Rob is one of the two friends I have that went into the COVID coma and actually came out. I have family and friends that did not. I mean, he was in a coma for 3 months. He spent another 3 months after that in rehab over there before he could leave the hospital. And when I asked Rob, who else was coming off the floor? And this is the Delta variety, early 21. And I said, Rob, who else was coming off the floor? And he said, nobody. The only way they came off was with a zipped up bag. Yep. So go ahead.
We watched many go by. But had he had insurance, and trust me, they called wanting to know what to do with him, and keep him going. He's fine. He just needs time for his body to heal. That's what he needed. And Robert was never on any dialysis. He didn't have so many of the issues and underlying issues that caused other patients to pass. But his body needed time to heal. His lungs needed time to repair and to heal. And that's what I fought for, was just for him to have that time. But again, with no insurance, they couldn't do anything but treat him, because there was no one saying, we don't cover that. Nope, that's your cap. You can only have, 2 aspirins a day. No matter what a doctor prescribes you, when any company comes in, and especially the real kicker is the fact that you're paying out of your pocket for this insurance to come tell you cannot have whatever procedure, whatever medications and therapy that your doctor said you need. So yeah, my big issue is a lot of things with that being told to you.
But if you don't have insurance, you can go get a CT scan for $300 some odd bucks. But if you do have insurance, they bill it for $6,000.
Yes, that is it. That is very true.
Yeah. If we can't let the doctors who did all this school, if we cannot let them run the healthcare, running the healthcare system in each of their own hospitals and run medicine, then what the hell are we doing? We're letting a lot of people with pencils and
your number
and pens and calculators, decide on healthcare.
But we're always going to be a number.
No, that is that's unfortunate.
Even if it's universal healthcare, you're still a number.
Yep.
And you're still an accounting.
I'm all for stories like this. Instead of people just giving you a generic. No, it's like during COVID. I got tired of hearing, cousin's brother. I went, and said, okay, give me this. Let me have the numbers of the people I actually know that got sick and who had the shot and who didn't. And, I remember at one time I counted during that second phase, like when you got it, there were 25 people that got it in direct close friends of mine, and only and 4 of those that had the shot. All the rest of them had not. So, I got sick and tired of everybody else's numbers. I want the reality, what I can touch and taste in front of me. And
I've never had a shot.
Spring never had the shot.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's weird. But I just, like I said, I think our healthcare system is broken. How can we fix it? Well, I don't know. It's going to have to be somebody smarter than me. But I do know this. I would pump X billion into our healthcare to help somebody like that woman had maybe had the cancer inside her bladder removed instead of buying like Greenland or sending troops to some goddamn war that was over. Oh yeah, about 20 months ago. Yeah, sure it's over. Yeah, just wish that you should see how much they spend on that daily.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's insane.
It is insane.
Yeah. I mean, invest in your own damn people, man. That's we do that at our company, man. We added extra insurance for our employees, man, that just because we invested in the people that are actually at our company. That's
Generic medications, be very, 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 very careful. People do not understand that there's a manufacturer on your bottle. When your pharmacist puts your medication in your bottles, on there it'll say manufacturer. Not
yes, it does.
all manufacturers are created equal. I take thyroid medicine every day, but I only take the brand, and I took generic for many, many years. There is a huge, huge difference between the brand Synthroid and generic, just the medication name is levothyroxine. There's just such a huge difference. And people that take heart medication, I mean, oh my God, there's how much medication? There's so much medication out there. You have to understand, when you look on there, if you feel different and you've been taking this same medication and you're taking a generic, look on there and keep an eye on who's manufacturing it, because they don't have to tell you that it's a different manufacturer when you pick up your prescription.
You need to look at that bottle. Yeah, I always do. In fact, I've noticed that before too. I'm like, wait a minute, why does it look different? Oh, it's a different manufacturer because they were out of the other one.
Yep.
That's there just seems there could be a hell of a lot better way. I don't have the answers. Like I said, when they passed the healthcare plan during Obama, I was totally against it, and I still think that they could have done a hell of a lot better job than they did. But
it didn't go. I had friends that were trying to sign up because they were afraid they were going to go to jail. Everybody was saying you're going to go to jail if you do not, get this healthcare. So they were online trying to get it, and $10,000 and 25,000. What was one of her things that came across? Because it gives you. I never did it, but I was trying to understand what she was saying. It gives you like a few different selections, and one of them was like 10,000. Another one was like almost 25,000, and she's like, "Who can afford that?" And of course, they were older. They were over 65. So
yeah,
I was just dumbfounded. I was like, I don't know what you were doing, but that doesn't sound like what they were trying to tell people they were going to get. Now that was I don't know anybody that.
Doug, you can always go to Mexico and get cheaper healthcare.
I don't know about that, but I don't know if I want that.
But a lot of people are doing that.
This.
You know that, right?
I know,
a lot of Americans
go
to Mexico for cheaper healthcare.
What some of the things that happened because of that. They've had some problems with citizens going down there and
missing
maybe
parts,
getting held. Yeah, well, missing in period. It's just like I said. You remember the movie Dave?
I do.
Yeah, the movie Dave, where he was the president.
Big.
They said,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, they sat down at the table and they were going to do the budget, and he goes, "Well, I believe we should do that, but don't you think we should have this maybe first?" They had a calculator and they were doing the budget like that, and I just think, it's just a lot more common sense. All these people that go and serve you would think instead of getting self-served, our senators, our congressmen and women, instead of, maybe, if it wasn't so corrupt, man, all these benefits and all that they get from these people, all these trips, if you had to do it, like if you make a presentation to Walmart, you go in, say maybe once a quarter or something like that, you get a meeting. You're in there. There's no giveaways. What if you did if they had every quarter, they had, in the Washington Convention Center, they had groups come in and pitch their thing. And then they took it back to the committees after that, and they either approved or didn't. I think that would do a lot better than the corrupt system we have now. Like, I love America, and there's so much more better about it than not. But we could do a lot better on healthcare. That's my take.
Lobbyists.
Is that your rant
We would
today?
absolutely have to get rid of lobbyists.
Yeah, I agree.
Lobbyists
Because
are paid.
money.
Anybody, you can pay any lobbyist. They run around. They get this guy, that guy to vote for whatever it is that you're paying them to get all these votes for.
And if you get out of office, we'll take you on as a consultant or as a board member, a paid board member, or an employee. We'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. But while you're in there, hey, vote for this. And that's just
No, that I honestly I cannot see at all how that's even close to legal. I mean, I know they've been doing it forever. I just don't. I can't walk up there and try to get votes, but they can. I don't.
Yeah.
Now I don't know who these lobbyists are. I didn't pay them to do anything for me. I don't want them ever using anything for my voice.
Yep, I didn't vote for them.
Mm-mm.
That's for damn sure.
Nope.
Yeah, they're not representing me. I thought the congressperson was, or the senator was, but no, we can do a lot better as a society on healthcare. Like I said, that's a joke, and I have, regardless of my situation, I always thought that with cancer, when like the lady you sound like, that's a joke. That is a terrible joke.
Well, Doug, you need to get on the phone and make a lot of noise so you get your stuff taken care of.
Yep.
That's what my wife does, and it seems to work.
Okay. I hate calling them. Yes, I absolutely do. And have been calling for, decades, having to find out.
But you've had some good calls, though.
What? Absolutely have. Yes, I have had really good calls. No, that's just with your oxygen.
Yeah. No, that's all. Hey, that's all I wanted to say is America. We could do better, and we should expect better from our healthcare system than this. I don't think you should go and shoot anybody. I don't think violence is ever the answer,
No.
But we can demand a lot more than our people, instead of being a lot of puppets and yes, whatever you say. No, what's common sense, healthcare, to take care of your people. But anyhow, that's all I got today for the Nonsense Chronicles.
Okay. That's very nice,
right.
Doug. Thank you for your commentary.
Yes, well, that's what I'm here for.
Just need to keep you alive. That's the ultimate goal, is keeping you alive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll have to get another one in before I get out of there. But anyhow, that's it, everybody. I appreciate y'all listening, and we'll bring you more guests. We're just in the middle of a move right now.
Yep.
And perhaps a cutting.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. This is the Nonsense Chronicles, and we are out of here.
Bye-bye.
Later.